What do United States big oil companies, Russia, India, and Venezuela have to do with you?
Not long ago, Venezuela was one of the richest countries on earth. Today, socialism has bankrupted the oil-rich nation and driven its people into abject poverty.
The government of Nicolas Maduro used a fuel tanker and cargo trailers yesterday to block a bridge that connects Venezuela to Colombia. The standoff came as the U.S. sent supplies to the border area. Manuel Bojorquez is in Caracas, Venezuela, with the struggle to deliver food and medicine.
Well, to start, Russia trades many things besides oil with Venezuela. And before the USA sanctions put a squeeze on Venezuela, the United States was also trading oil for our refineries here in the United States. According to Reuters, in 2016, Maduro signed a deal with a Russian state-owned oil company, Rosneft, actually giving them 49.9% of the United States-based Venezuelan subsidiary, Citgo, as collateral for $1.5 billion cash that Venezuela desperately needed. In total, between 2006 and 2017, Moscow loaned Venezuela at least $17 billion in loans and credit lines, becoming Venezuela's largest sponsor after China. What does this have to do with the United States? And what is the reason for our involvement? Well, since Maduro took over the country, he has been very busy bankrupting it and starving his own people. And aside from this being an economic crisis, this has spiraled into a humanitarian crisis, with all other neighboring countries being directly affected by the mass exodus out of Venezuela, fleeing poverty and Maduro's socialism failure. According to the HoustonChronicle.com, the United States is moving to remove Maduro from power with sanctions, announced January 28th. That ordered Citgo to divert payments for the 500,000 barrels per day of Venezuelan crude oil imported to the United States into an account that Maduro cannot access. 2 days later, White House National Security Advisor John Bolton met with Citgo's executive team, stating that the U.S. is working to make sure Venezuela's resources are not pilfered by Maduro and his cronies. Meanwhile, the Bank of England denied Maduro's request to withdraw its gold in attempts to steal the gold from the people of Venezuela. And now Maduro claims that the English have stolen the money. Houston Citgo Petroleum has become a key piece in an international chess game over the future of Venezuela, as creditors of the nearly bankrupt South American country, and now the Trump administration, use the money-making refiner as leverage against the government of President Nicolas Maduro. From a bankrupt gold mining company to a Russian oligarch to the Houston oil company ConocoPhillips, creditors are circling Citgo, the U.S. subsidiary of Venezuela's national oil company, PDVSA, as they seek billions of dollars owed them by the PDVSA and the Venezuelan government. But with the challenge to the Maduro regime from the opposition leader Juan Guaido, the Trump administration is trying to keep Citgo intact with an eye toward helping a new government and the Venezuelan economy recover from years of misrule. Guaido, who is recognized by the United States and other Western countries as the acting president, is now expected to soon name his own board of directors to run Citgo, setting up another battle for control with Maduro. According to Reuters, the United States and dozens of other nations have refused to recognize Maduro, viewing his re-election last year to another 6-year term as fraudulent. Venezuela's self-proclaimed president, Juan Guaido, is setting up bank accounts with U.S. help that would take income accrued by Citgo, Venezuela's top foreign asset, to finance interim government. Maduro has denounced Guaido as a U.S. puppet who is seeking to foment a coup. The board of Houston-based Citgo includes at least 2 U.S. citizens, Art Klein and Rick Esser, as well as Hugo Chavez's cousin, Astrobal Chavez, with the matter. PDVSA and Citgo did not respond to requests for comment. Esser and Klein did not immediately reply to emails and phone calls seeking comment on their status. It was unclear if PDVSA's board has already approved the changes at Citgo's board and who will replace the American executives. Citgo also has an executive board that includes the refiner's general managers, its corporate treasurer, and the controller, and other vice presidents. Esser was among a team of Citgo executives who met with the U.S. officials last month in Washington amid efforts by Guaido and the U.S. government to appoint a new Citgo board of directors. Citgo operates 3 U.S. refineries that supply about 4% of total U.S. fuel production, and is PDVSA's largest U.S. customer for its oil exports. Sanctions have forced Citgo and other U.S. refiners to seek crude oil supplies from other nations. The Delaware-registered Citgo operates plants in Texas, Louisiana, and Illinois that are capable of processing a combined 750,000 barrels per day of oil. It distributes fuel through about 5,500 independent retail stations in 29 U.S. states. Citgo, which has been owned by PDVSA for 3 decades, has not publicly detailed the composition of its current board since late 2017, when the cousin of late Venezuelan Hugo Chavez was nominated by Nicolas Maduro to run the business unit. Astrobal Chavez, Escalona, and Escara have been working from an office in the Bahamas since the U.S. sanctions were issued, according to the sources. Our view here at World Independent News is that this global oil money game is getting old and has been the real reason behind wars since we started burning fossil fuels. It's time we move on to clean energy, hydrogen, electric, and alternative clean biofuels. Enough is enough. With the global oil game, the cycle of wars, sanctions, and destruction has to end.